Now, for the moment you've been waiting for. We have my very, very dear friend, Mayor Rita Sanders from Bellevue. Rita. And she is a rock star in multiple levels. Not only is she a fantastic human being, she's a great mayor, she's a wonderful cyclist and a runner and a rock climber and a camper with elephants and lions and tigers on my. And I mean, I want to be her when I grow up. And so Rita, being an incredibly dedicated mayor and advocate for bicycling, is here to give us a quick pep talk on why our work is important, and she has a special guest with her as well. So without further ado, Rita Sanders.
When Julie said pep talk, I'm like, really? You know, I've never been a cheerleader, so I'm not sure how to do this. But I think I want to share a story with you, more importantly. I try to keep an active lifestyle because heart disease is in my family. And so my dad was 56 and died of a massive heart attack, and my mother was 66. It was really hard for me to get to 56, and I'm glad I made it to 56, and next year's birthday would be 60, so I'm getting closer. But that's always a big hurdle for me. When I think about my dad was only 56 and what he could have done differently. So I hope to have a healthy lifestyle, and that's really my ultimate goal, is the healthy lifestyle. So I get that. Never did I think running for mayor that I would be an advocate for a healthier community, the cycling community or the running community. But all of a sudden one day you find that you are. And the paths that it leads us to get some things to happen. And they're not always the path that maybe you as cyclists take because you like to cycle and you want to see more bike paths. Sometimes I'm in a room like the bike lanes that are on Fork Brook Road. I have to be involved as the mayor of Bellevue to be on the MAPA board, Metro Area Planning. And there was some extra money that the city of Benson couldn't use and had to be for a road project. And we had a road project that could have used the money, and so it was easy to shift the money there, and that created the bike lanes. We did the road diet, we narrowed it down, we didn't need the 6 lanes on Fork Brook Road. We took 2 of those lanes out and made them bike lanes. But what I wasn't prepared for was the backlash. There are a lot of upset people that said, so how am I going to get to work? The other 4 lanes, you know? And you don't even need 4 lanes on Fork Brook Road, you need 2. But you're disturbing what was a norm, but that taught me a lot about what's happening in the human psyche, and they don't like change, right? So how we change the mindset is so important, but how we get to the cycling community and be able to advocate and do more things, that encourages a cycling community, bike paths, bike lanes, healthier lifestyle. It is not always the direction that we started. So that is my exhibit A today, is Mayor of Plattsmouth, Paul Lambert, if you would join me up here. Mayor of Plattsmouth, great partner, and he came up to me one day and said, hey, how are we going to be part of this whole bike thing that you're doing? If you look at Paul, does he look like an advocate for the cycling community? You know, no. But so that is my point, is it's around us and it's everywhere, and it's on our left, on our right side, and we just don't know it unless we are talking about it and advocating for it. So he gets the impact that it has on the economic impact. And so he came up to me and said, how do we connect? And we've been talking about this for over a year.
Yes.
How do we connect Bellevue and Plattsmouth when there's a river? Right? There's a big river, or the Platte River. And so with the construction going on, why don't we think about putting a bike lane over on that side? And actually the Nebraska Department of Roads thought about that.
On Highway 75.
On Highway 75. But we weren't aware of that, right? That's at a state level, and that's about roads and transportation, and we weren't at that level. But when you called and asked about that, and we brought MAPA to the table, and we brought Nebraska Department of Roads to the table, and NRD to the table, which some people think are very unlikely partners, they said, hey, we put those, I think they're called girders, off of Highway 75 bridge to add a bike lane. So why aren't we doing it? Because it's up to the local people to make that decision. but we didn't know as the local people, who was the local people to make that decision, right? So we've got to be everywhere, the eyes and the ears have got to be listening, and so he had to advocate for that. And when we got to the meeting of, okay, how do we get this done? It was, number one, how do we sell it to the Cass County commissioners that want only corn, and they don't want anybody with tractors near their fields, right? How do we sell that? And happy to report that Monday night, it was brought forward to the Cass County commissioners, and it was a vote 3-2. Because it took him talking to the farmers, you know, the people that you think the least expecting to be part of the bike community. But we still have some hurdles to go, but let me just have him share that.
Thank you, Rita. The farm community, yes, they're concerned about the farm fields, the tractors going up and down the field. They don't want bikes bothering them. But you go to the merchants, our main street, and you say, think of the economic opportunity here. Not only the fitness, the wellness of our community, which when you get companies that look at your community, that's important to them. Plus, look at the people that are gonna ride their bikes into Plattsmouth. They're gonna need to get a sandwich, a bottle of water, something like that. So we had Main Street behind us. And you work and everybody gets out there and explains how much better your quality of life is when you are a biker or you have a biker around you. And we were very fortunate, and I said earlier that when you get involved with something and you've got a spark plug like Rita working on it, it can't fail. And so far we've been very fortunate. A number of years ago, the Department of Roads even thought of this before we did. When the pilings were put in the Platte River and they were extended out so that we just need to lay some girders down, put a bridge across there, and which is not a minor task. It's going to cost a lot of money to do it, and we need a lot of partnerships to get involved in it to get it done. But it's going to happen, trust me. Take my word on that.
And so what I like to say to Plattsmouth is, they are the gateway to our Cass County. They really are the gateway to Cass County. So once you get over the bridge, right, that opens up a whole new world south of Platte River. So we're excited to do this project. We're not over all the hurdles yet. The biggest hurdle was getting the Cass County commissioners to agree, but we got that, right? Now it's going to be, and you never know where you are. So last night I was at a reception for Joe Reardon that's in town for the 2050 summit that I was at this morning. And in that room was a gentleman that's now working for Bellevue University that lives down at Buccaneer Bay that drives that every day. And he says, God, I hear they're trying to do this bike thing, and that would be really cool for me to be able to ride my bike from Buccaneer Bay to Bellevue University now. And I said, yeah, but I just talked to Kyle, who's the Department of Roads director, and he said, you know, there's a little issue still, a little hurdle to get those workers to agree to stay on to get that other section done while the road is closed. And Jim says, now this is a guy who works at Bellevue University that commutes, and he says, oh, hey, I live next door to the project manager that works for Hawkins Construction that's on that project. I'm just gonna go have a cup of coffee with him tonight. And he did. So if you get internal, right, and the external, that's the way it has to work. And I know right now the political climate is very interesting. And what I'm seeing a lot is people put their fingers in my face and they're yelling and demanding things that they need. That's one way, that's in a very effective way. But we still have a process and a procedure that we have to go through, right? You've got to get legal to agree, you've got to work out the studies to make sure the studies indicate those are things that we need to spend money on, and the engineering and all of those things. So whether you're yelling at us to get it done, there's a process and a procedure, or you say to us, how do we work together to get it done? There still is a process and a procedure, and it takes some time. But I think the most important thing that has to happen is that we all work together, and then we get some really cool stuff. And the mayor of Plattsmouth and I don't ever talk party lines. We don't want to know what party we're with. And that's true in a lot of meetings we're in. When we're in the meeting trying to figure out what the solution is to get what we need done, Party lines never come in. We try and figure out how do we get it done, how do we work together to get it done, and how do we connect the dots so everyone gets to benefit. So thank you for being cyclists. Thank you for taking care of your health. And with our support, we'll get Mayor Lambert to be a cyclist as well. Because I really want him to cross that bridge with all of us.
They came up just from Omaha to do this today, so we're so grateful for you to do that.